Hello, everyone, and welcome to Off the Wall. Today I'll be reviewing episode 1 and 2 of the second season of Bad Batch. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more coverage of this season of Bad Batch. These episodes were good. They gave off the vibe of a typical Clone Wars episode, and if you have enjoyed the animated Star Wars shows, you will enjoy these two episodes. Now let's get into it. At the beginning of episode 1, you see that the Bad Batch is still working for Sid, and she has a new mission for them. The mission is to recover as much as they can of Count Dooku's war chest from Castle Sereno, which is currently occupied by the Empire. With half the stories from Tales of the Jedi released last year being about Dooku, does anyone get the feeling that a Count Dooku-centric story is going to be coming out soon? Either like a show or a movie? I think so. But the mission to Castle Sereno plays out kind of like previous Star Wars animated shows. There's a mission, some things go wrong, people get split up, they figure some stuff out, and there's a cliffhanger at episode 1 to start off the second episode of this 2-arc story, or this 1-arc, 2-episode like story kind of thing. Some things to note from episode 1. Wanda Sykes voices a character, and it just made me think of the last time she voiced an animated character, which is the Queen of Fables in Harley Quinn, and how hilarious she was. Seriously, go watch that, and go check out mine and Mike's reaction to all of season 3 episodes here on Off the Wall. You also have Echo speaking to Hunter, saying that the decisions to rescue Omega last season was the right decision, and it had changed their lives, and that there are many other people out in the galaxy that need their help from what the Empire has done. I see this kind of as a foreshadowing on what the season will probably be, the Bad Batch helping those who have been wronged by the Empire. Also, I kind of laughed at, like, for no reason at all, the animation of the escape pods coming out of the vessel like Omega, Tech, and Echo were in. It just looked really, really funny, and the sound design from it made it even funnier. Like, I kind of rewound it multiple times because it was like, still laughing about it right now. So that's kind of episode 1. Very much the kind of regular kind of episode that you get kind of in the Clone Wars, or that like the middle episodes of like season 1 of Bad Batch, or just Rebels. The other one that's set in the like sequel trilogy time. I forget the name of that one, but yeah, pretty much just kind of regular episodes. Regular episode, and then the second one is kind of again to make it regular episodes. So let's get into episode 2. Because the Bad Batch are still in Sereno, and Omega, Tech, and Echo are like, hanging off the side of a cliff, which that was funny at the end of season 1. Cliffhanger. Start off with a cliff. I was like, I see you, boo. And the shipping tank, and they're in a shipping container, and Tech ultimately gets injured. And the funny thing I noticed is that when the object falls on him, he relays the weight of the object in kilograms. So I'm like, okay, Star Wars is on the metric system. Because after they escape the shipping container, they meet a native from Sereno named Romar, who takes them to a safe location where survivors from the destruction of their city by the Empire are staying. And you see that in episode 1 when they arrive to Castle Sereno, the city that's like right outside is destroyed, and Omega asked about it, and they were telling her, yeah, this is what the Empire did to the city. So at first you think there's no survivors, then you find out there is some. While they are in the safe location, you really see Echo worried about the Empire, and he seems to be more worried than the rest of the Bad Batch, adding to his conversation he had with Hunter in the first episode. And I feel that Echo is kind of going to be the moral compass of this show. He's really speaking more about kind of the things where in Star Wars, or even in other like animated shows that are for kids but are family oriented and everyone can watch, there's always like lessons to be learned in them. And I feel like Echo is the one that's kind of gearing towards these lessons, or kind of being the moral compass. You also get a really interesting exchange between Romar and Tech, Romar has a busted Model 2 data core that contains fragments of his people's history, culture, art, music, and memories. Tech calls it a separatist archive. Romar corrects him and says it's a Serenian archive, and that his people existed long before the separatist movement. Maybe I'm reading too much into this exchange, but I saw it as a culture being defined by something that didn't happen until much later in their history and is currently not happening now, but that is all they are remembered for. And you see that happen in like real life and real history where you think of different cultures and you associate it with something, but that's not all that that culture is defined by. Like if you actually learn more about that culture, you're like, oh, there's way more than this small part of history, but everyone just knows them for that small part of history. So I kind of found that exchange between Romar and Tech really interesting. And Tech is also able to fix the data core. So we don't actually see any of the history or culture or art from the data core, but I feel like we will see that later on in the season. The Bad Batch has ultimately all agreed that it's not worth it to try to retrieve the war chest and just find a way to get off the planet alive. But Omega, feeling guilty for her brothers, basically, essentially having to change their lives for her, wants to retrieve items from the war chest so they don't have to worry about money. Because currently, right now, like the only way they get money is by doing stuff for Sid. And Sid was like, if you get this, it's gonna be way more money than anything I can like provide for you. So she is worried about that and is feeling guilty about that. But when it becomes a get the money or leave alive situation for Omega, Echo is the one who's able to tell her to let it go. And I kind of saw this as not just like let go of the credits, but also to let go of the guilt. And like I said earlier, Echo looks like he's the moral compass of this season, or so far the moral compass of these first two episodes. So maybe that theme goes on further on. We'll see. At the end of episode 2, also, we get a scene with Wilco, one of the clone troopers, and Vice Admiral Rampart. And when reporting the incident at Castle Sereno, Wilco had described Clone Force 99, aka the Bad Batch, being there. And the Empire and Tarkin currently believe that they are dead. And if Tarkin is to find out that they're still alive, that'll look really badly for Rampart because he's the one that's like, yeah, they're dead. So Rampart asks Wilco to remove them from his report, and he refuses and then is murdered by Rampart. So pretty much you got the most exciting action happening at the very, very end of the second episode. That's was the most interesting part, or the thing that has the most weight to it of any other thing in the first two episodes. All in all, I enjoyed these episodes. I wouldn't say they're my top 10 favorite Star Wars animated episodes, but they are good episodes and a good start to the season. And I'm excited to see what happens next. I feel like Rampart, he's going to be even more interesting this season. I can't wait for what he does, how evil he's going to be. Like, is he going to be like Azula and deliciously evil? I'm ready for that. I'm ready. So, I've been Soul. This has been my review of Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 1 and 2. Remember to like and subscribe and comment your thoughts on the episode down below. See you next time.